Right, okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're all well and having a good day. It looks quite nice and bright and sunny outside, so that's good news. Well, it is if you're around this area anyway. Anyway, so thanks very much for coming to visit my channel. And I've come back today because I've got a brand new and exciting video for you, which is episode 29 of England's most successful football club. And today I'm looking at Leeds United, which I have to say is a great story, and I'm sure you're going to really enjoy it. Anyway, it seems that the Warren's Team Talk coach is ready for our trip up to Ellen Road. So Ellen Road up in Leeds, that is. But before we go, I just want to remind you all that if you haven't done it already, please click on the subscribe button to my channel and hit the like button, and also please remember to share this episode around with anyone you think might be interested in watching it. And yeah, so that's about it really. I hope you really enjoy the show, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy your visit. Anyway, so let's go and get on the bus and enjoy the bus entertainment, and let's get on with the show. So everyone, we've pulled up. We're in Leeds and we pulled up outside Ellen Road, and we've come to find out all about Leeds United. Now, Leeds United, they finished 12th in the Warren's Team Talk table, and they managed to get 4,515 points. Now, Leeds was formed in 1919 following the disbanding of Leeds City by the Football League, and they took over their Leeds City's Ellen Road Stadium. And following on from this, on the 31st of May 1920, Leeds United were elected to the Football League, and currently the club are also known as either United, the Whites, after their present club colours. They were also known previously as the Peacocks, which seems to stem from the fact that a pub used to stand opposite Ellen Road, the Ellen Road ground. And there is also a story which suggests that the Peacock name came from the fact that the club originally had colours of royal blue yellow trim. Now the club has changed to its current all-white kit when Don Revie came to the club, and it is believed that the reason that this was done was to try and make the club's players and supporters believe that the club could be as successful as Real Madrid. Now, Leeds' first success Leeds United's first success came in the 1923-24 season when they won the second division Tier 2 title, which was their first ever league title win, when they finished 5 points. When they finished 3 points ahead of the chasing pack, which was led by Bury, who ended up finishing second that season. Leeds then had a 3-season stay in the first division until the 1926-27 season, when they were unfortunately relegated back to the second division. Now, following on from this, in the next season, in the 1927-28 season, which was the first season back in the second division following that relegation, they finished second in the second division, which they finished 2 points behind the second division champions that year, Manchester City. This was enough, though, to see Leeds promoted back up to the first division Tier 1 at the first time of asking. Now, history then repeated itself when they managed to stay in the first division for 3 years before they were relegated back to the second division, Tier 2, in the 1930-31 season. And then in their first year back in the second division, Tier 2, in the 1931-32 season, they successfully secured a second place finish in the second division. And this again was enough to see the club promoted. Leeds would then not achieve any further success until well after World War II. And in fact, in the first league season after World War II, which was the 1946-47 season, Leeds were unfortunately relegated to the second division, Tier 2. And after this, Leeds successfully secured a fourth place finish in the second division, Tier 2, in the 1954-55 season, when they finished 1 point behind second division title winners that year, Birmingham City. Now, also remarkably that season, the top 5 teams in the second division were separated by just 2 points. The top 3 clubs, Birmingham City, Luton and Rotherham, all finished on 54 points and had to be separated by goal average. Leeds, however, who finished in 4th place, finished on 53 points, and then Stoke, who finished 5th, finished on 52 points. So, yeah, that must have been a bit of a weird season for all those clubs so close to each other at the end of the season. But sadly for the club, they didn't win promotion, as the top 2 teams were promoted from the second division that season. Then the following year, in the 1955-56 season, they made up for the previous season's disappointment of narrowly missing out on promotion when they finished second in the second division, Tier 2, 3 points behind Yorkshire rivals Sheffield Wednesday. And again, that was enough to see them promoted back to the first division, Tier 1. This time, Leeds stay in the first division, Tier 1, was ended 4 years later in the 1959-60 season, when they were relegated to the second division, Tier 2. In March 1961, the club appointed former player Don Revie as their manager, following the resignation of Jack Taylor. His reign began in adverse circumstances, though, as the club had severe financial problems, and the club only escaped relegation to the third division, Tier 3, after the final game of the season 1961-62 season. Don Revie then implemented a youth policy, and it was at this time that he also changed the club's kit to an all-white one, the same as used by the Real Madrid side, and his appointment saw an incredible run of success for Leeds United. The club then won promotion back to the first division, Tier 1, after they won the second division, Tier 2 title in the 1963-64 season, when they finished 2 points ahead of Sunderland. And then Leeds followed up this Tier 2 title success by finishing second in the first division, Tier 1, behind their great rivals and league champions that season, Manchester United, on goal average of 0.686 of a goal. When they both finished, and that season, they both finished the season on 61 points. The 1964-65 season also saw Don Revie's side reach the FA Cup final where they lost to Liverpool 2-1 after extra time at Wembley Stadium in front of 100,000 capacity crowd. And then the club's second place finish in the league that season also qualified Leeds for the Intercity Fairs Cup in the 1965-66 season. In the 1965-66 season, Leeds United again finished second in the First Division Tier 2 when they finished 6 points behind the league champions Liverpool, which again qualified Leeds for the Intercity Fairs Cup for the 1966-67 season. Leeds Intercity Fairs Cup campaign for the 1966-67 season saw them knocked out in the semi-finals to, 65-66 season saw them knocked out in the semi-finals to Real Zaragoza of Spain when the tie ended in a 2-2 draw on aggregate. And the game then went on to a replay, which was played at their Ellen Road ground, and they lost the game by 3-1. They then started a 9-year period where they qualified for European competition every single year. The following season, in the 1966-67 season, Leeds finished fourth in the First Division, Tier 1, 5 points behind their bitter rivals Manchester United, who were the First Division League champions that season, which again qualified them for the Intercity Fairs Cup the following season. And then the club's Intercity Fairs Cup campaign that season saw them lose 2-0 in the final to Dinamo Zagreb. And at that time, Zagreb, which is now the Croatian capital, was part of Tito's Yugoslavia. Now, the following season, in the 1967-68 season, the club again finished fourth in the First Division Tier 1 when they finished 5 points behind that season's league champions, Manchester City. And once again, their league position qualified the club for the following season's Intercity Fairs Cup. The club's Intercity Fairs Cup campaign for that season was successful when they faced Hungary's Ferencváros in a 2-legged final. And en route to the final, they defeated Spora Luxembourg 16-1 on aggregate in the first round. Yes, I said 16, not 6. 16-1 on aggregate in the first round. They also defeated Partizan Belgrade of Yugoslavia 3-2 on aggregate in the second round, and Hibernian of Scotland 2-1 on aggregate in the third round. Rangers again of Scotland 2-0 on aggregate in the quarter-final, and again another Scottish team, Dundee 2-1 on aggregate in the semi-final. And then in the final, they won 1-0 on aggregate against Ferencváros, and the 2-legged final was played obviously between Leeds and Ferencváros of Hungary, which Leeds won by 1-0 thanks to a goal from Mick Jones in the 41st minute of the first leg at their home ground of Ellen Road. And here we can see a picture of some of the Leeds United players celebrating their Intercity Fairs Cup triumph. Now, I recognise Billy Bremner, but the other two players, I'm not completely sure who they are. So if any of you know who the other two players are, I'll be really grateful if you could let me know in the comments. That'd be brilliant. Anyway, so moving on, In the 1967-68 season, Leeds also went on to win the 1968 League Cup when they defeated one of my clubs, Arsenal, 1-0 at Wembley Stadium in front of a crowd of just over 97,000 people. And then after this Intercity Fairs Cup and League Cup triumph, the club went on to win the First Division Tier 1 title in the 1968-69 season, when they finished 6 points ahead of second place Liverpool and only lost 2 league games for the whole season. This league title triumph also then meant that Leeds qualified for the following season's European Cup. And in their Intercity Fairs Cup campaign this season, they reached the quarterfinals before being knocked out by Hungarian side Újpest 3-1 on aggregate. Now, the following season, in 1969-70, was another highly successful one for Leeds United. The season started well for the club when they defeated Manchester City 2-1 in the annual charity curtain raiser match at Wembley Stadium to win the FA Charity Shield. This season also saw Leeds finish as runners-up to league champions Everton by 9 points this year, and it also qualified them again for the Intercity Fairs Cup for the 1970-71 season. This season also saw Leeds battle it out with Chelsea for the FA Cup, which was a battle which unfortunately they lost after a replay after the first game at Wembley ended in a 2-2 draw in front of, again, a capacity 100,000 crowd. The replay was won by Chelsea by 2-1 at Manchester United's Old Trafford Stadium, with a crowd of just over 62,000 in attendance. The club had its first ever European Cup campaign this season, and they progressed to the semi-final when, unfortunately for them, they came up against the mighty Celtic and lost home and away to be knocked out 3-1 on aggregate. And then in the 1970-71 season, Leeds secured a second place finish in the First Division Tier 1 when they finished 1 point behind that season's league champions Arsenal and 12 points ahead of third and fourth place sides Tottenham Hotspur and Wolverhampton Wanderers, who both finished on 52 points. Leeds' second place finish also qualified them for the 1971-72 UEFA Cup. And also, Leeds also reached the Intercity Fairs Cup final this season and they defeated Juventus on the away goals rule after the tie ended in a 3-3 draw, with the first leg inter-end ending in a 2-2 draw and the second leg in Leeds ending in a 1-1 draw. Now, the 1971-72 season saw Leeds finish second in the First Division Tier 1, when for the second season running, they finished 1 point behind the league champions, which on this occasion was Derby County. And then Leeds secured their second place finish after they finished equal on points with two other clubs who were Liverpool and Manchester City. And they finished top of that group, courtesy of the fact that they had the best goal average. Leeds United reached their third FA Cup final, and when they would face Arsenal at Wembley Stadium. And their road to Wembley road to the final at Wembley took in the following opponents. Bristol Rovers at home in the third round, who they defeated by 4-1. In the fourth round, they faced Liverpool, and the game ended in a 0-0 draw at Anfield, which meant the tie went to a replay at Ellen Road, which Leeds won 2-0. In the fifth round, Leeds defeated Cardiff City 2-0 away. In the sixth round, they were drawn at home to Tottenham Hotspur, a game which they won 2-1. And then in the semi-final, they won 3-0 against Birmingham City at Hillsborough in Sheffield. The final itself proved to be third time lucky for Leeds, as they defeated Arsenal by 1-0 at Wembley Stadium in front of a capacity 100,000 crowd to take the trophy back up to Yorkshire. The club's UEFA Cup campaign this season ended just after the first round, when they lost 4-2 on aggregate to Leeds of Belgium. I'm sorry if there's any Belgian people watching this and I've butchered your team's name, but I'm sorry about that. Anyway, the 1972-73 season saw Leeds finish third in the First Division, Tier 1, when they finished 7 points behind the league champions that season, Liverpool. They also reached the FA Cup final again, but on this occasion they suffered one of the biggest upsets in the history of the FA Cup when they lost 1-0 to Sunderland, who were in the second division at the time, and Leeds at the time were one of the most dominant forces in English football. Leeds also reached the UEFA Cup final this season, but unfortunately they lost 1-0 to AC Milan in the final. Then the following year, in 1973-74 season, they made up for the disappointments of missing out on winning the league title when they won the First Division Tier 1 title by 5 points over second place Liverpool. And also that season, they had another UEFA Cup campaign, and this lasted until the third round, when they were eventually knocked out by Vitória Setúbal of Portugal 3-2 on aggregate. And at the end of the season, Don Revie's reign as Leeds manager came to an end when he took over control of the England national team. And then in the 1974-75 season, Leeds started off the season by losing to Liverpool 6-5 in penalties in the annual charity curtain raiser match, also known as the FA Charity Shield. This season also saw Leeds have another European Cup campaign where they reached the final and lost in very controversial circumstances to Bayern Munich in the final. Now, I'm a bit too young to remember that final, but I have heard stories that at the end of the game, the Bayern Munich fans, as was the tradition in the time at the time, took the European Cup trophy over to the Leeds fans to show them the trophy, and they got pelted with all sorts of missiles from the Leeds fans. How true that story is, I don't really know, but there was obviously a lot of bad blood, and the Leeds supporters obviously felt very, very upset about what had happened during the game. And then in the 1979-80 season, Leeds had a UEFA Cup campaign, and on this occasion, they were knocked out in the second round by Romania's Universitatea Craiova 4-0 on aggregate. Then 7 years later, in the 1986-87 season, Leeds United unfortunately found themselves in the second division Tier 2 again, and they successfully secured a 4th place finish in the second division Tier 2, but unfortunately they missed out on promotion when they lost 2-1 to Charlton Athletic in the playoff final. In October 1988, Howard Wilkinson was appointed as manager, and he helped Leeds to avoid relegation that season. And then in the 1989-90 season, Leeds won the second division Tier 2 title when they finished above Yorkshire rivals Sheffield United on goal average, when both clubs finished the season equal on 85 points, which meant that as well as winning the second division title, they were also promoted back to the first division Tier 1. And in their first season back in the first division Tier 1, in the 1990-91 season, the club secured a 4th place finish when they finished 19 points behind Arsenal, who were league champions that year. The following year, in the 1991-92 season, Leeds went on to win the first division Tier 1 title, which was the last year before the FA Premier League was introduced, and in that season they won the league with a 4-point margin of victory over their bitter rivals Manchester United, and 7 points ahead of their Yorkshire rivals Sheffield Wednesday, who finished in 3rd spot. And then the next season, in 1992-93, started with Leeds winning a dramatic FA Charity Shield match at Wembley Stadium in front of a crowd of 61,000 people, when they defeated Liverpool 4-3 in a match which saw the controversial Eric Cantona grab a hat-trick for Leeds United. This season also saw Leeds return to Europe for their 3rd outing in Europe's premier competition, at this time known as the Champions League, previously known as the European Cup. But unfortunately for Leeds, though, they were knocked out by Scottish champions Rangers 4-2 on aggregate in the second round. Then 3 years later, in the 1995-96 season, Leeds returned to Wembley Stadium when they unfortunately lost 3-0 to Aston Villa in the League Cup final in front of a crowd of just over 77,000 people. This season also saw Leeds venture into Europe again, this time in the UEFA Cup, but this campaign only lasted until the second round, when they were sadly knocked out by PSV Eindhoven 6-5 on aggregate. And then in the early part of 1996-97, Leeds and Howard Wilkinson parted company, and he was replaced by George Graham and David O'Leary. The appointment of George Graham, however, was seen as a somewhat controversial one by some, because of the fact that George Graham had received a 1-year ban from the FA because of some financial issues whilst he was at Arsenal. And then in October 1998, George Graham left Leeds to become manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and then Leeds went on to appoint his assistant, David O'Leary, as manager, and Eddie Gray was appointed as his assistant. Then in the 1998-99 season, Leeds finished fourth in the FA Premier League Tier 1 when they finished 12 points behind their bitter rivals Manchester United, who were crowned Premier League champions that season. Leeds United's UEFA Cup campaign this season ended in the second round when they lost 1-0 on aggregate to Roma of Italy. And then the next year, in the 1999-2000 season, Leeds went on to finish third in the FA Premier League when they finished 4 points behind second place Arsenal and a massive 22 points behind their bitter rivals Manchester United, who were once again crowned FA Premier League champions. This third place finish in the FA Premier League meant that Leeds qualified for the 2000-2001 qualifying rounds of the UEFA Champions League. And then Leeds' 1999-2000 UEFA Cup campaign saw the club reach the semi-final. And unfortunately for Leeds, they lost out 4-2 on aggregate to Turkish side Galatasaray. Sadly, the match in Turkey was overshadowed by violent clashes between Leeds and Galatasaray fans, which saw 2 Leeds fans sadly stabbed to death. The 2000-2001 season saw Leeds finish 12 points behind the FA Premier League champions that season, Manchester United, and secure a 4th place finish in the FA Premier League Tier 1, which meant that they qualified for the next season's UEFA Cup. And Leeds' Champions League campaign that year saw the club reach the semi-final, where unfortunately they were knocked out by Spanish side Valencia 3-0 on aggregate. And in this campaign, they faced some of Europe's biggest clubs, including the Spanish giants of Barcelona and Real Madrid, and Italian side AC Milan. The following year, in the 2001-2002 season, Leeds UEFA Cup campaign saw Leeds reach the 4th round when they were knocked out by PSV Eindhoven 1-0 on aggregate. And then in the summer of 2002, Leeds United chairman sacked manager David O'Leary. This had been coming for quite a while though, because the two of them had been had a public fallout, and then over the next few years after this, after O'Leary left the club, there seemed to be something of, well, from my perspective anyway, a bit of a revolving door at Ellen Road, with several managers coming and going, which included Terry Venables and Peter Reid, amongst others. But following on from this, in the 2002-2003 season, Leeds again competed in the UEFA Cup, and to date this would be the club's last foray into European football. Their campaign saw them reach the 3rd round before they were knocked out by Malaga of Spain 2-1 on aggregate. And then after 6 years without any success, Leeds found themselves back in the 3rd tier of English football. In the 2008-2009 season, they finished 4th in League One, but failed to win promotion when they lost 2-1 on aggregate to Millwall in the playoff semi-final. And then the following year, in the 2009-2010 season, Leeds made up for this by narrowly missing out on promotion from League One by finishing second League One, Tier 3, 1 point ahead of Millwall, who had defeated them the year before in the playoff semi-finals, and they won promotion to the Championship Tier 2 as a result. Then 9 years later, in the 2018-19 season, Leeds secured a third place finish in the Championship when they finished that season's Championship behind that season's Championship title winners Norwich by 9 points and 6 points behind their Yorkshire rivals Sheffield. And 6 points behind their Yorkshire rivals Sheffield United, who finished second that season and claimed the final promotion spot. But unfortunately for Leeds, they missed out on promotion when they lost 4-3 on aggregate to Derby County in the playoff semi-final. The next season, though, Leeds made up for this disappointment when they won automatic promotion back to the Premier League by winning the Championship Tier 2 title with a 10-point gap from second place West Bromwich Albion, and this saw them end their 16-year absence from England's top tier of football. Then moving on. Now, this week, unlike last week, I've been able to find the greatest ever Leeds United side, so I'm really happy about that. The Leeds United did a vote of their supporters in 2006 to try and find out the club's greatest ever 11, and this was the results. In goal, they went with Nigel Martin, and they had a back four of Cooper, Charlton, Hunter and Reaney, and in a midfield of Gray, Charles, Bremner and Lorimer, and up front they went with Charles and Clark. And then also another survey was undertaken of visiting supporters' websites, which gave these results. And the idea of this survey was to get the perspective of opposing fans' thoughts on Leeds' greatest ever team. And again, they went for Martin in goal, a back four of Madeley, Charles, Hunter and Reaney, a midfield of Gray, Charles, Bremner and Strachan, and a front two of Lorimer and Clark. So what do you think of these two sides? Do you agree, or do you have another 11? Please, please, please put your greatest ever Leeds United 11s in the comments section, as well as any interesting or funny stories that you may have about Leeds United. Yeah, so anyway, I hope that's been enjoyable for you. And yeah, that's the end of our Leeds United story. Okay, so sadly, everyone, that's the end of the show for today. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it interesting and entertaining. And I'm sure you'll agree it's a great, great story. I enjoyed all the bits about Don Revie and Howard Wilkinson and what have you. But anyway, there we go. Anyway, as I said in the video, please, if you have a greatest ever Leeds United team, please put it in the comment section of this video, as well as any other comments or stories that you might have about Leeds United. That would be amazing. Anyway, so, but before you do that, please, before you go, if you haven't done it already, please, please, please click on the subscribe button to my channel. Please put a like on the video, and please pass it on to anyone who you may think might be interested in seeing it, because all of that stuff really, really helps me to grow the channel. Basically, the more people that see it and subscribe to it, the easier it is for YouTube to be able to push it out to people who haven't necessarily seen the video before. So that would be a great help to me. Anyway, also, remember, it's completely free and you don't have to pay for it. And hopefully I'm hoping it's keeping you entertained. Anyway, but I'll be back again on Wednesday with the next episode for you, which I hope that you're going to really enjoy as well. But apart from any of that, and more importantly than any of that, please, please, please look after yourselves and share some love, kindness and joy around the world. And please keep talking to each other. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and please take care. I love you lots, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. All right, guys, take care. Bye.